Hello, folks. You're all very welcome back to the Celtic Soul podcast. I'm Andrew Milne, and once again, I'm joined this week by Glasgow-based journalist Michael Pringle for our regular chat about life and, of course, Celtic. We had a great night on Wednesday night in Celtic Park. Great celebrations, great atmosphere. We enjoyed the moment, but we cautiously look ahead to Tuesday night. If you're watching on YouTube, folks, please hit the subscribe and alarm bell, and you'll never miss an episode. And we're also available across all the audio platforms. Firstly, I just want to dedicate this podcast, the episode of the podcast, to Malachy McCavanagh. Malachy passed away on the 10th of August and was buried a couple of days ago. Malachy was a great friend to the fanzine. I met him first in Belfast, getting onto a bus to go to see Celtic. He was a Belfast native and a regular on the bus on the boat. We were sitting beside each other. We got chatting. He was very much into the history of Celtic. A big fan of another former fanzine writer for us, David Potter. He loved all his books and all the historical books on Celtic. After the conversation we had on the way to Celtic Park, he started to write for the fanzine, and then he would help us sell it on the boat and also outside Celtic Park. So to Malachy's family, we pass on our deepest condolences. Rest in peace, pal. You'll be missed. And the other night at the game as well, we'd also like to offer condolences. Someone took ill and they passed away since. So condolences to the family and friends of them. And also the Toy Thames founder, Paul Lennon, passed away, and he leaves behind such a legacy for what he done in Thailand and bringing the kids to Celtic Park and that. So his memory will be engraved in most people's Celtic fans for what he done. And as someone that's been to Thailand and worked with charities over there and raised money for them, you know, it's incredible what he achieved. And again, condolences to his friends and family. We've one event coming up, folks. We just announced it. Just get it in. Paul McStay is going to be with us in Rose Maguire's in Spain. Tickets went on sale yesterday. The early bird tickets, the general early bird tickets sold out fairly quick yesterday, but they are on sale from Friday morning. This podcast won't go out till Monday, but they are on sale. If anyone's in the Alicante region and wants to come along, or if anyone is travelling over, a few people have been in contact. We will get the accommodation link up for everybody. So, with that out of the way, Michael, you're very welcome back to the Celtic Soul podcast.
Thanks, Andrew. Good morning to you. Happy Friday. No,
yeah. Friday for Monday. We're getting in because you're a busy man next week. But we don't have a game the weekend, which is a good call by the club. It gives them time to recover because each and every player put in a massive performance the other night.
It was a solid performance. A bit shaky in the first couple of minutes, but we settled into it really well. And my thoughts on Lask, whereas I mean the 3-0 scoreline flatters us somewhat, I think, because they had some great chances in the game as well. Lask, it's probably the most nervy 3-0 victory I've ever had to witness. I think, in some respects. So, they were dangerous, very direct. No, they weren't frightened to go long and move it quickly, direct, quite narrow. I thought we handled them well. We looked a bit shaky defensively the first couple of minutes, as I said, but the two centre backs were fantastic. I thought against the last front line, and a special mention for Colby Donovan, who slotted in superbly well. I mean, for a 19-year-old, I thought he was absolutely immense.
Yeah, Michael. Sorry, Michael. You spoke last week about Colby Donovan. You spoke very highly of him. I thought he had a brilliant game. But people I spoke to after the game, which I was surprised, wouldn't give him credit. They were going, "Oh, he's not good. He's not good enough." He's a 19-year-old kid. He's come through the youth system. Yeah. And you said he wasn't the finished article.
No, he's a teenager. No, he's a young boy.
By God, he put in some performance.
I don't know what it is with some of the support. They're just willing them to fail almost. Know what I mean, he played in last year's playoff games as well. I just think he's got so much potential. Of course, he's not going to be a finish. He's not going to be Alistair Johnson. Alistair Johnson's got 10 years on him. I mean, so he's got 10 years to grow into that sort of that defensive stalwart that he is. I just think there's so many good things about Donovan. He's strong, he's quick, and I mean, he's just he's got a big heart. It's just. It'll come, know what I mean? It'll come, man. But I just thought there was one instance on Wednesday night where he turned back with the ball, and I heard an off stand to my right just all grumbling. I was like, oh, here we go again. Know what I mean? He must be the whipping boy for this season. Know what I mean? I'd have got skills, wasn't he, on the park yet at that point, I think. Or maybe he was, so, but it was. But I don't get it. I really don't know what I mean. He's got so much potential, and he's already doing it for us. Know what I mean? It says something that he's going in before Ralston as the first pick now, because that Johnson's out now, because that's I know Ralston's not everybody's cup of tea, and he's a player of probably limited ability, but he's an experienced defender and an internationalist. Know what I mean? So for Donovan to go in front of him says something about what Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney think about.
Yeah, and Martin O'Neill said something to him in the first half. Obviously, I sit close to the dugout, but he said something to him in play. And when the ball went there, when he turned around and said something to O'Neill, so they were having words, like, you know. I don't know if it was, you know, what the banter was, but when the ball went out of play, O'Neill stood back and Maloney came out and explained to him what O'Neill was looking for him to do. You know, so and I thought that was really, really good man management, rather than O'Neill, just in case it was he had confronted him, you know. And then I thought, you know, that's really, really good. I thought, and I also noticed as well the set piece coach coming out for corners and that, you know, coming out, and also when we were defending corners. So that was kind of the first time I noticed that Trusty got the nod ahead of Scales, and thankfully he did, because he's a quicker player than Scales, and his pace was needed because Vickers isn't the fastest. But I thought Trusty. I thought every player. I couldn't pick a player out that had a poor game.
It was a team performance.
Yeah, and it really was a team performance. But at times going forward, Michael, it was really exciting to watch.
I think the third goal sort of epitomises that. What a fantastic goal! I mean, somebody said the other day if it was Barcelona, we'd be talking about it for months. It was really such. I mean, it started back with the keeper, back with Donovan and the keeper, Sinisalo, who also came up with a couple of crucial moments as well, especially that one in the second half when
one really good save at 2-0.
Aye. The striker sort of got caught between his feet slightly, which sort of helped. But I had to stop it, and he
went down to the side with one hand. And then he managed to get on top of it.
But I still felt kind of weird when the whistle blew. Somebody beside me says, "I think that's it." I went, "No, if we concede an early goal and Austria, then their tails go up, and you've got that sort of quandary. What do you do? Do you go and sit in defensively? And I mean, that's not really our style, is it? So I think we need to go and score still. Maybe even need to score more than one.
Well, I think with initially after the game, you know, everyone wanted to talk about Duran's performance and the goals. Young Vincenzi from Barcelona, the journalist, as soon as the game was over, he said, "I'm falling in love with Nygren." You know, he said, "What performance from him?" But everyone else, every other WhatsApp message I got from back home was Duran. You know, he's so impressive. You know,
it was, and I mean the three goals were absolutely belters. No, I mean each of them. I thought the first one was absolutely tremendous. What a strike for Negrin. But then the second one was even better because it was to catch a ball on the volley like that. 99 times out of 100 it'll fly over the bar or wide of the post, or I'll not quite catch it right, but they caught it flush, and that's an unstoppable one. And then the third one was just such a fantastic team goal, but the finish at the end it was absolutely sublime as well. You know what I mean? So I mean it's hard to pick between the three goals, to be fair.
Yeah.
And, I mean, all probably contenders for goal of the season already. So
just
it was just such a great night for the off. No, I mean the fans were up for it. Quite often we can be guilty, sort of getting into certain games and underestimating the team we're up against. Thankfully we didn't do that, and the support didn't do that either. And I think that offside goal in the first 40 or 50 seconds or whatever it was, maybe confirmed that they were a good side. I mean, what a finish that was. That might have actually been goal of the night if that stood. You know what I mean? That was a screamer.
Yeah, and you could see you could see his pace. You know, Vickers was just caught cold.
And there wasn't much in the offside decision either. It was, when you looked at it, when I seen it again, I thought.
But the linesman was straight up at the flag.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like he was straight up, and then they did another goal chalked off. Again, linesman straight up at the flag. Yeah. But one player that impressed me from them was their captain in the midfield.
He was taking the corners and stuff. And
he was, you know, and I think at home, you know, we will be up against it. And their fans, the Celtic fans were brilliant throughout. Like, the boys' project off with the Green Brigade is working, because that is creating the atmosphere for the rest of the stadium to join in. When the third goal went in, it was like stepping back in time. Just can't get enough. The atmosphere was absolutely unbelievable. Because I'm in the main stand, Michael, and the atmosphere sometimes doesn't get round to the main stand.
Yeah.
And it was just. But when I looked to me right, as soon as I went into the stadium and I looked to me right, the Lask fans were waving flags. They were singing. They were noisy. They're 3-0 down, and they're still banging out. They're still backing their team. Yeah. So I presume when we go over there, if the rest of the fans are like them, that the atmosphere will be incredible over there as well.
Yeah, I would expect so. I would expect so. And they worked for the 90 minutes. They never gave it up, did they? Even when they went 3-0 down. And in relation to your standing section, it's hard to tell sometimes, because I'm within that, how it's radiating to the rest of the stadium and stuff, because you become sort of somewhat cocooned in there, where you don't really hear what's going on in the rest of the stadium, and it's hard to gauge how noisy it is and stuff, and if it has improved and stuff. But obviously there is an improvement. European games, the crowd are generally up for it anyway, if there's a spark. First 10 minutes of the game the other night, I thought the team really need to get on the front foot here to ensure that the crowd do get up and stuff. And it was a relatively early goal in the game, so that obviously helped. And then we were under a bit of pressure when we actually scored the second. Lask were looking dangerous at that point, and what an absolute screamer of a goal to give a wee bit of cushion and really get everybody, settle everybody. It was. You couldn't have asked for it to go better the other night, to be fair. I mean, I would have took any sort of advantage going away would have been a bonus. But to take 3 goals away is just superb. But obviously that creates the other issue of how do we go and play the second leg now? How do you set your stall up, and are we going to go and defend? No, it's not really our game. So don't concede first. It's that old chestnut.
I think the first 15, 20 minutes,
we always say that, first 15, 20 minutes.
If we go through 15 minutes without conceding the goal, and and then if we can nick, like the first goal could be a game changer.
Yeah, we say that, you go, don't concede in the first 20 minutes, 22 minutes you could concede, 25 minutes, just don't concede. That'd be better.
You just want them to settle into the game.
Don't concede to about 85, and then you can maybe have a wee bit of a wee bit
But I noticed as well, Michael,
calm.
when they were taking corners in front of the North Cove,
Yeah,
it was a hostile atmosphere
yeah.
from the and I, you know, what's the story with the sirens? Is that a new thing?
No,
I
I
never
don't know,
heard them before.
I don't know if we're louder. They're actually see the megaphones.
Yeah.
It's a button on them that it's a switch on them that goes into sort of siren mode. I don't know why they've got them on it. No, it's a obviously emergency services use them. So
Yeah.
this is so
That's the
I
first. That's the first time I heard it. Now, I
well
never noticed it before.
I don't know if it's a new megaphone that new megaphones that they're using and they're actually louder on them, or if they've just replaced the batteries or something. But I, they've, I mean, years ago, they actually, how should I put it? They were at Tynecastle and they found one that was belonging to know them. It wasn't belonging to an ultras group either. I think it was belonging to the local constabulary,
All
and
right.
they took that away, and that had the siren thing on it and stuff. So,
Very good.
aye,
Very good.
they acquired, shall we say, acquired. I don't want to say
They
theft
found
by
it. They found it.
finding. I think it's
Yeah.
called the actual.
Yeah, well,
Aye,
it
so,
worked
so
anyway
that,
because
aye.
they didn't score for many set pieces. As I
No, I
said,
was quite worried about the set pieces because it looked a big team as well, no? And
yeah,
Carter Vickers, for not being the biggest guy, he won a lot of headers against that
mhm.
big guy,
Yeah,
no? So,
and you know what? I've often said that's probably the weakest part of his game
mm.
is in the air, you know. But
His positional sense is really good, but no, so
he's a
that
very
helped,
clever player, isn't he?
Yeah, he's strong. He's squat strong, and his positional sense is good. So he gets himself in position, and then he's hard to move for that position once when the ball's in the air. No, so
We were
aye,
traveling down from Edinburgh. We flew into Edinburgh, and there was a squad of us on a minibus coming down the road. And you're chatting about Engels being sold.
yeah,
You know, my opinion was he shouldn't have been allowed to go. He's under contract. He should have been sold. When the board probably says, "Well, we can't afford another injury," because they
aye.
couldn't
Well,
cash in
that's the thing.
on Johnson. So he goes, and I honestly did because Barr was an unknown quantity to me. Having a clue about him, having a clue where he came from. Okay, you can watch
Incredible.
reels and you can read stuff, but
Yeah,
you generally, if an agent's putting stuff out, he's putting out positive stuff. He's a young kid, you know, under German football. We saw in the World Cup, they've gone backwards for
mm,
numerous years now. He's an under 21 international, hasn't stepped up yet to the first team. So that was a kind of a. I thought we could be weaker in midfield without Engels because he does cover a lot of ground.
yeah.
O'Neill had basically said that in his press conference the day before the game. But this kid Barr come on and he had an absolutely brilliant debut at Celtic Park. I thought.
Yeah, he did. Didn't it? I actually thought he played slightly higher than I thought he would. But he's really tidy on the ball. Looks just slotted in as if he'd been there for a number of years. To be fair, no, I mean I thought he was really impressive. No, I was hearing a story last night for somebody that somebody thought it was Hatati that was on
Yeah,
the park at one point and was much to the amusement of those running about him was shouting at Rio. This was the first half, no, so I was like, Hatati's not playing. He's on the bench. No, he's not
but
even on the park. No.
build wise, they are quite similar. And like without your specs on, you might think it was a Tata, you
I
know.
think even the hairline
Yeah,
maybe added to it as well. No, so
Hilly said it to me. He said the German had Tata,
oh,
you know.
quite possibly.
But I
So,
knew he wouldn't have listened to O'Neill before. I knew he didn't have 90 minutes in his legs yet.
mm,
But
yeah,
like, he had to call on a Tati, you know.
but done
To
well
come
when he
in.
come on.
Yeah, he did. And like the substitutions, I want to see this Hassan, you know, when he gets fit,
Mm,
because he for the role he played when he come on, the ball is stuck to his foot.
aye, and he's like physical and all. He's got physique about him. No, it's not as if he's going to be. It doesn't look as if he's going to be pushed off a ball easily and stuff like that. No, I mean, when Balakwisha came in, I thought, wow, he's super skinny. You know what I mean? I know you can't judge everything with that because there's some players that aren't the biggest build, Paul Lambert and stuff, who are really strong on the ball and stuff and clever. But aye, for a winger, he's solid looking. So, it'll be interesting to see once he gets up to speed.
Yeah,
What he creates.
I had Vincenzi was on the podcast before the game, and he just gave me the low. He's watched him for a season, a couple of seasons. Like he crossed the divide from he was on loan with Sporting Eon, and he crossed the divide to Oviedo. They're like that's like the local derby.
Oviedo,
and
he hon to Oviedo, was it?
Yeah. And he was saying that like that was a big like the Sporting fans were they weren't impressed. Let's just say that. But and he gave us the positives about him, the negatives. But one thing that stood out was his stats. Like in the top 5 leagues in Europe, he's in the top 5 for dribbling, possession, passes completed, assists, so forth.
Yeah.
And Yamal is number 1. Like the company he's in, but Yamal is playing for Barcelona, who are on the front foot.
Yeah.
He's playing for a team that were relegated.
Yeah.
So I'm just so excited with the players that we brought in.
Yeah, it's astonishing that we've managed to get them, that nobody else has picked up on that data, because I mean, football recruitment now is so data driven almost that it seems as if it's a bit of a coup that we've managed to get his signature. So, it'll be interesting to watch how he goes. But
I'm just and I think now, I think O'Neill would have liked to get a few more players in. He didn't get them in, but he did say if we do qualify for the Champions League, it might entice a player. So maybe he has someone on the back burner.
Yeah.
That can come in and do a job. When you look at the team, we're still probably short on the left side. It's cover for Kieran Tierney, who I thought was excellent. I thought he was excellent the other night before he went off. But you're always worried about his fitness.
I think Tierney's that type of player, but he's such a combative player that he does pick up injuries because he throws himself into things that maybe others wouldn't.
Yeah.
A bit like Joe Jordan. I always remember a saying about Joe Jordan. He says he puts his face where other people wouldn't put their boot. So I think Tierney's a bit like that, no?
Yeah, I thought he was. He's so direct, and like with who now as well, who I thought walked his backside off. During the game, he didn't get his goal, but I think he's a grafter. And when you talk about grafting, Duran covering back.
Every time he loses the ball, he's like, he doesn't just go, I've lost the ball, go let somebody else. He's after them.
Yeah,
and they go to run 80 yards to get the ball back, and he does. No,
he's going to be a favourite of O'Neill.
Aye, I think he's going to be a fan favourite as well. I think because of that work ethic that he's got, as well as the talent.
Really excited, Michael. I was buzzing yesterday. I didn't fly home till last night, and I went for lunch with Bobby and a couple of lads out of the Arto yesterday, and it was just Brian was with us and that, and we just the whole lunch was just the Duran kept just coming up in the conversation, and it just really positive. We do know we need to bring more into the midfield. Do you think they might sign a centre half?
I'm not sure. Somebody, one of the boys beside us on Wednesday says that we need a centre half, which is possibly 2, and I was like, I don't think we will sign a centre half. I think the 2 that we've got in Trusty and Carl Vickers are solid enough, and they've got a bit of experience. They've been raised now for a few years. We've got skills that can play centre back, and Dane Murray, I know that he's another young player that comes in for a bit of criticism, and to be fair, he's flattered to deceive up to now. I mean, we've not really seen anything that we can say, wow, that's a player we've
he's got. He's also 5 years older than Colby Donovan.
Yeah, that's it. He's not a young player anymore.
I think if you haven't cemented the position by that age, I think he's 24 or 5. Now, O'Neill did say he was out for a year which stopped his progression. But I just think, and I don't want to be disrespectful to him, but I think if you haven't broke into the first team in your mid-20s, it ain't going to happen for you.
No, but I mean, he's still probably still an important squad player in case we do get a red card or something at some point, or a stack of injuries. So I think he would step in an emergency. But so I'm no convinced that we'll sign another centre back. We look to be covered with wingers now as well.
I think we might sign another right-sided centre back, and I'll tell you why. Because last year, when Vickers was out,
we ended up with two left footers.
Two left foot, and that would suggest that none of the managers fancied.
It's funny that how there's never an issue with two right-centred centre backs, but there always is with two left. I think that's some sort of prejudice against left footers and left-handers. I think.
You're delving deep now. And then we need a goalkeeper cover.
We definitely need goalkeeper cover. Whether that be spending big money for a number one, or if Sinisalo's done enough for me, I think so far to say that he's the number one, but we do need a quality backup for him. I don't think I'd be too confident with Ross if anything happens to Sinisalo or Ross Duran stepping in as the getting into Champions League games.
No, he's not at that level.
No.
But I thought Sinisalo, I thought his footwork the other day was brilliant. I thought his confidence, his choice of passing. Now, a lot of ball did go directly to him, but he did make that one-handed save at 2-0, and that was crucial.
Yeah, and nothing come back off him either. That's always an order.
You must remember he's a young keeper as well.
Yeah.
You know?
I think he'll grow in stature as the season goes on if he retains his place in the first team, which I expect.
And it's all positive, Michael. It's all positive after the start of the season domestically. There's a massive step up when you go into Europe, and I think it's positive, but we do go there. Still, Neil has said that this game isn't over. I don't think any of the fans take it for granted.
No.
But if we can just settle into the game and maybe grab a goal, I think that first goal is going to be crucial.
Yeah, obviously, the longer it goes 0-0, or if we go in front, then all the better. If we score first, then it could really be a first nail in the coffin, I think, so to speak, because it would be a long way back for them for there. But you don't want to go gung ho either and try and leave yourself wide open at the back. But if we could get a goal, first half hour or so, then that would really be a absolute hammer blow to them, I think, and it would dent the noise in the crowd, I think, but it's all ifs and buts, isn't it? We are giving up chances, as we've seen at Tannadice last weekend. Teams are getting chances against us. Lask got some, Dundee United got some, and Kilmarnock obviously scored against us. Nothing's a given yet, but if we can get, we look as if we could score. At any point, we've got so many players now that are capable of getting a goal. Another special mention for Yang. He looks like his physique as well he looks a lot stronger. Again, I thought he looked stronger last season. When he first came in, he looked quite easily pushed off the ball and stuff. But I don't know if it's that Maeda hairdo he's went for as well that's made him look a bit more robust.
Yeah, he did confuse me when I went out. The players come out, I went, we signed someone else and no one told us.
But I was looking at him in the first half and I thought, he looks as if he's put a bit of muscle on as well, no? So he's been after the cup final against Aberdeen the other season, I never thought he'd play for us again, to be honest. I just thought he's not got it, but we need. But I think last season and the start of this season, he's shown that he's absolutely a crucial. I'm glad we never sold him now, to be honest. No,
and he was on his way out, wasn't he, as well?
He was. He was off.
He was heading for the airport.
But for total mismanagement, and it would have been. No?
And
But
then, like,
O'Neill obviously likes him as well, you know, so.
and we still have Jota to come back.
You've got Jota come back, you've got Tenecte, you know what I mean? You've got Hassan, so Forrest, sorry. Apologies for mentioning James in the last there. But we've got good options in the
Good
wide
attacking
area.
options, you know.
Aye.
But
And
yeah,
obviously they've all got to force Duran out of the way as well if they want to play in that area as well, you know what I mean? So,
and Tannadice, yeah, like Dundee United, they'll consider themselves unlucky to hit the woodwork. But
yeah.
as someone commented, well, if you're forcing them to take shots outside the box, you know, well, your defense is doing something. That the net.
Yeah.
We hit the post the other night as well. It's just part of the game.
Yeah.
But
could easily went in.
Again, the feel good factor in Tannadice, the fans, absolutely atmosphere rocking. And then the draw, then, you know.
I commented.
Ibrox again, you know, the police are probably shaking their heads. I don't think in the League Cup they have to give us.
No, they don't.
The allocation.
But 2,500, I would think.
Yeah. So, like on current form, you know, you wouldn't be worried about Celtic going. I think Rangers have signed. I think they've signed about 11 players. So it's going to take a long time to bed in all them players.
Aye, well, I watched some of their game last night. I was watching part of the Motherwell game, and Motherwell with a red card and a penalty. Conceded a red card and a penalty. Ended up conceding the 96th minute as well. So they've got a 3-1 defeat. So it's really hard ass for them. But I was flicking between the channels and I watched a bit of Rangers and Jablonec as well. And I looked at the lineup and there was so many in the lineup that I didn't really recognise. You know what I mean? And McInnes had Raskin, Asgard, and Shankland on the bench. You know what I mean? I was like, just and by all accounts, they were really, really poor in the first half. I turned it over and it was just half-time the half-time whistle had just blown and it was a lot of boos again. So when the draw was made for the cup the other night, I just thought, I don't think they'll be cheering in their dressing rooms the night with this draw. No, obviously it's always a tough ask, regardless of how well they're playing. It's always a tough game at Ibrox. No, and form in that fixture goes out the window in a lot of respects. So, I mean, it goes out the window. So I ideally would have wanted them at home, but I was sort of, before the draw, I thought we're going to get Ross County away here or something. I mean, so when it came out Rangers, I was like, well, okay, it is what it is. I mean, and that's the only disappointing thing is that you only got a couple of thousand that are able to go and see it. No, but that is what it is, I suppose. No, so, but I don't think in terms of form or where we're at, I don't think we'll have any fears going there. And that's twice in a week. How often does that happen? We've got to go and play them twice in a week.
I think. But do you remember we played them a couple of years ago under Strachan, and we had to beat them twice.
That was more than a couple of years ago.
Yeah, well, yeah, and was a big Jan.
Yeah, that was 20 years ago.
Was it that long ago?
Almost, aye.
Oh, God. So if we played them twice in Celtic Park, was it? On a Wednesday night and a weekend. I'm almost sure that Big Jan scored a header late in the game.
Yeah, 9th minute.
Oh, wow!
And we needed to win as well. That one. So
was that the season then we went to Tannadice?
It was, aye.
And won the league.
Sure, it was. Yes.
I bet the bus is coming back down the road.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it seems to happen quite often. That we come up with playing them a couple of times in a week or a space of 2 weeks last season as well. We were at them a couple of times, and so it'll be a big week.
It still gets everybody up, but you know, it does get that. It keeps the press going as well. It gives them something to talk about for a week or two. You know,
I noticed that Lask have cancelled their game this weekend as well, so both teams will have I wasn't entirely sure that was the best move for us, given league position. With hindsight, it probably is. I mean, if we were as long as we get through, then it's a worthwhile exercise in postponing the game. If we don't get through, then we can obviously question why we've
No, it's the right
cancelled it.
decision.
And
It's the right decision, Michael. It's definitely the right decision because, Rangers called off their game as well, but they didn't think they were going to be playing in the conference.
No, I know. It's just that sometimes this season we complain about other teams being up to speed and us having a lack of match fitness because we're not up to speed and stuff. And so I wasn't quite sure about the cancellation, but I probably.
No,
Hopefully next week
I'm happy, especially for the likes of Tierney and it did
it gives them a rest. I mean,
the players did print every one of them. Every one of them, Michael, print a huge shift.
It was incredible exertion from all the other night. I thought,
I know better man than Matt O'Neill to take them down now, get them down.
Well, I was talking about that as well because he's a clever man when it comes to European away games. I mean, he set us up throughout the years. He first came in, first time around. I mean, Celtic had been in the doldrums in a European sense for so long, and then Martin O'Neill came in, and there was a lot of fuss with him. Took us beyond Christmas for the first time in a long time. But we're getting results away for the first time and stuff. And then even last season there, he's come in, got a result with Stuttgart and stuff. And so I think he'll know how to set us up to go over there and hopefully see it through and into the group stages where it will be a completely different kettle of fish again, right enough. So, but hopefully we're in the draw.
When you speak about Martin O'Neill first time round, that takes us down on our memory lane trip, Michael, because Celtic Park, Champions League qualifier, 3-1 win, Basle.
Aye.
We go away. If memory serves me right, did Chris Sutton have a header come off the crossbar in the dying minutes of the game?
He had one. It was wide. Right. Celtic Park or away? Away.
No, away.
It glanced an inch wide of the post. No, yeah. It was so close. No.
What are your memories of that away trip?
Firstly, my memories of the away game are somewhat similar to the last game. I mean, we won 3-1 at home, and but Basle or Basle, depending on if you want to speak German or French, they were really impressive. I know. Once I'm master that, maybe move on to something else. They were really impressive at Celtic Park. When I cast my mind back, they were really good. Players like Jimenez and Murat Yakin and Hakan Yakin, they were really good. Moved the ball really well. My memories of the away game were, I can never remember ever feeling so disappointed at a result than I did that night. It was just, I mean, we didn't play particularly badly. I mean, obviously, getting in there with 3-1 lead into the second leg. I remember the tunnel was like a toothpaste tube. That's one of the things that stuck in my head. I know it was obviously an advertising. It's for some form of toothpaste. So it was this toothpaste tube came out where the players came out. And we didn't play particularly badly. It was a good game for both sides, but they got the goals they needed. 2-0. We've obviously had the away goals then, so they're going through. And Chris Sutton glances at one wide when it looks as if it's an inch there away, it goes in off a post, a couple of inches there away, and it was so close. And I was devastated at the final whistle. Devastated, and I remember I was so fed up. I was like, I'm going to go into the city. I'm going to go into the city centre away for the Celtic support and just have a quiet one, because and we went in and there was bars set up. It was like did Sauchiehall Street or some pedestrianised main street in the town city centre, and there was these wooden bars set up with, so everybody's standing around about them. So we go talking to some Basel fans and stuff, and so I remember this distinctly. They were obviously asking how we felt and stuff, and I said, devastated. They went, okay, so you go on and win the UEFA Cup now, and I just laughed. You know what I mean? Because I just thought it was a ridiculous sort of statement, you know what I mean, at that time. And lo and behold, we got all the way to the final of that. But as I was standing there, some of the Basel players came up, and obviously their fans are all clamouring around them. They're out for a drink to celebrate. So they're out in the street celebrating. So they were at Yakin, bought us all a drink. And it's not the cheapest country out there, so he got his sign out the other drink. What he's like, and bought the Celtic fans that were there a drink and stuff. So that was it. He's now you've seen him at the World Cup, not managing. So
Yeah.
aye, but he was. I mean, they went on to prove they were a good side.
Can you remember how they done that
Liverpool
season?
And Manchester United. They done pretty well, and they got a few results in the group. And impressed. You know what I mean? But I can't remember if it was Liverpool or Man United that ended up in their group. But
I think it was Liverpool.
Was it Liverpool? I'm sure they beat Liverpool at home. But it was so that was a. But one of my other memories that was was it? Am I getting confused? No, but that was the thing. But I remember watching the draw. I got home after the game, and I watched the draw, and we came out against Sedova, and I was like, who is that? I'd never heard of him, no. And it was like the Champions League draw had been made, obviously, and Basel had got Liverpool stuff, and you were like,
I think it was Liverpool.
Aye, well, whoever it was, I remember getting an English side in the group. I'll need to go and have a look and see who they actually go. But I remember being gutted because I thought that should have been us, and then the UEFA Cup draw was made to me through Sedova. And I was like, where even is that? You know what I mean? So, where is that? And I had to get I looked up, and it says they've got a tiny wee ground, and it's so far for, it wasn't Vilnius, where was it? Kaunas, so far for Kaunas. I was like, what a nightmare, no? But I did book up, and I went to Sedova, and that was the start of another journey. But Basel, that night in Basel was the start of that journey, I suppose, in a lot of respects. But devastated, I tell you, the devastation. I was so gutted that night. It was just what it might have been. You know what I mean? So, especially when that header for something just flashes by the post. You know what I mean? But that took us on a journey that with Martin O'Neill that took us beyond Christmas and beyond Blackburn and Liverpool and Stuttgart and Boavista and that was do you know that's the only season that I've been following, in all the years I've been following Celtic. That's the only season I never missed one game. I usually it used to be I'd miss 2 or 3 a season, no, for whatever reason, but that season I never missed one game. I dread to think how much I spent, right enough, but
yeah,
just the worth thinking about.
We were all hitting the credit union for loans.
Well, when we go to Boavista, I ended up having to do a day trip. Normally I would go away a couple of days here and there, but I had no money left basically. But I had to do a day trip. But
yeah, we done a day trip as well. There was a charter flight from Ireland.
But I'd already booked in advance for the final and stuff. I'd booked a hotel, I'd booked tickets and stuff. So everything was in place. So. And I remember in Boavista when the ball, it looks as if it travelled almost in slow motion into the net for Larson, no? But I remember the
tears.
Not even the tears. It was the whole way my body reacted to that goal was like nothing else. It was like I can't even explain how that was. It wasn't like a happy joy. It was like a relief joy as well as a happy. It's indescribable. But I remember the way I felt when that hit the net. It was as if my body was just going to implode.
I remember Hilly saying to me, when we got into the stadium, it was packed. It was kind of overcrowded, the stand we were in. If you remember, they were rebuilding the ground for the Euros.
Yeah, we were at the side and the upper sort of. So we were running along the side of the ground. So the goal we scored in was to the left.
Yeah, and I always remember I was sitting on the steps beside Hilly where the press were. And he was going, we're not going to do it, we're not going to do it, we're not going to do it. And I was going, shut the fuck up, right? And it didn't look like we were going to do it.
Nah, there was 2 really poor poor games from a football perspective. I mean, they were really negative. Both of these were quite negative. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, but the goal goes in, and my vivid memory is Hilly crying, everyone jumping up, obviously. And do you remember Jim that used to walk? I think his name was Jim, the beard. He used to walk in birds, the barman.
Yeah, I think so.
And he was to the other side of me, and he was weeping.
Right.
So there was a lot of tears. And then when we went out of the stadium, the Porto fans were all on the street.
Yeah.
They were celebrating, obviously celebrating Boavista losing, and they won. So that was, as we headed back to the airport, that was my memory. And then our flight got held back for the players to come in and head. And I always remember Jim Green and getting over a screen, and he the camera and getting pictures with there's no phone cameras then, and getting pictures, and the silence then coming home on the plane. Everyone was just exhausted. Everyone just crashed out on the plane because we'd been on the go probably from about 3 a.m. in the morning, and then it was right. How do we get to Seville now? And that was
for that night in Basel, we were there. That was special. That was it.
As you said, you were just so upset after that game.
I still remember the devastation I felt. I was just like, it was as if the world had ended. We hadn't made the Champions League yet, but I mean, go back a couple of years before that, in 2001, that was I realised that Martin O'Neill had what we needed in Europe. I mean, that game when we went to Juventus in the Stade de l'Alpi, even though we lost the game,
we were robbed that night.
That was when I realised. I thought, okay, he's got us. We can take on these sort of teams now. So that was the first sort of realisation that Martin O'Neill's a man to re-establish us as a force in Europe. No, so hopefully he's a man again to re-establish us as a sort of, maybe not a force in Europe, but as a credible and formidable opponent. No, that's what we can ask for. I think just now. We'll not ask for too much.
We'll get the answer on Tuesday night, or part of the answer. So, Michael, it's been. I love going down memory lane with you. It's been such a positive start to the season for Celtic, both domestic and against Lask.
Can only go downhill for here.
we have lost players, but we've brought in some quality players. Hopefully, there's more to come. Hopefully, there's a Champions League to look forward to. The draw then will take place on the Thursday, but I don't think we're going to get a chance to chat, Michael, because I'm away to the Electric Picnic on Wednesday, and you're away to Creamfields.
Yeah, on a Thursday.
So I don't think we're going to get a chance to chat. So it'll be the following week maybe when we get a chance to chat. So enjoy Creamfields, enjoy the game,
enjoy your Electric Picnic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm really looking forward to Collins coming home. That's really looking forward to seeing him, because
hope he enjoys it as well.
I met Tommy Conlon. Tommy's home in Toronto. Tommy's from Belfast. He's home, and I bumped into him in Celtic Park and we had a beer on Wednesday evening. And Tommy has been so good to Connor, helping him settle in over there. He's been like a father figure to him, and it was just great to thank him in person, because I know what he's done, and they've become great friends as well. Which helps when you go to a strange land. It's nice, and obviously
it's good to have a familiar face in it, someone to sort of just lean on if you need to.
Yeah, and someone that's been there for a long time. Tommy's there Tommy's there since before Seville,
right?
So So anyway, I'll finish on that now. Thanks to you, Michael, for chatting, and thanks to Tommy for looking after Connor. And we're smiling now. Hopefully we're smiling on Tuesday evening.
Yeah, I hope so.
Cheers, pal.
Cheers, man.